Hey everyone, it's Jess from the Surviving Eating Disorders blog here on Healthyplace. And a couple weeks ago I did an article about coping skills and just kind of gave you guys some ideas about coping skills to have around and talked a little bit about how I keep a literal shoebox of coping skills with me in my apartment. However, as I've mentioned before, I'm in grad school, so I'm not spending a whole lot of time at my apartment. I'm pretty much on the go all the time due to classes or work or going to appointments or whatnot, so I'm out and about a lot, and carrying a shoebox full of coping skills not only is strange but inconvenient. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to an idea that I came up with. I'm sure somebody else has had this before, but a few years ago when I was first starting recovery, about just having coping skills on your hands all the time. So coping skills on the go. And so that is why I've created the For Emergency Use card kit. And I've sent these to a couple of people, and my caveat is always this. If you even think about opening it, then it is an emergency. There's no like, oh, well, my urges aren't this bad, so I shouldn't have to, open it. No, if you're thinking about opening it, it's an emergency. Use it, cope. So my kind of setup for this is I have just a nice card that has something inspirational. You can go the funny route, you can go inspirational, whatever. This one says, remember these things. You are talented, you are needed, you are valued, you are loved. Which is something, if I'm having a rough time, I probably need to hear that. And it also says, sometimes we just need someone to tell us, so I'm telling you, and I mean it with all my heart. And then I wrote a note to myself that said, you are worth making the right choice, just to kind of remind myself of that. And I have like a whole little stack of things going on in here to kind of get me through some rough times. So I've got a few bucks with a note that says, get an ice cream or a tea, breathe. I previously had like a Starbucks gift card or a Target gift card or something like that that was very place specific. I live in a pretty small town, so anywhere I can go to get a tea or an ice cream is great, so it works out better for me to have just a few bucks in cash in this card that I carry around. But, if you're in a larger city where a Starbucks is readily available, yeah, just get a $5 gift card, stick it in there, and then you're ready to go. You never have an excuse not to stop and just have a chamomile tea and breathe, or have a snack, or whatever you need to be doing at that point to be keeping yourself on the road to recovery. Another reminder to myself says, do the next right thing. It's worth it. And it is, usually I had to write these notes to myself when I was in a good place in terms of recovery and really gung-ho recovery. Because when you're opening this card, you're not really thinking this is worth it. You're like, so there's that. One of my best coping skills is crossword puzzles. So I even have a couple crossword puzzles in here so that, if I'm on campus and I don't have my regular book of crossword puzzles with me, but I'm feeling stressed out, I've got these right here. I just pull them out. It doesn't look weird because I'm just pulling out a sheet of paper, so it's still pretty inconspicuous, I've got a couple of notes just from friends that said some really sweet things. These are actually from a couple girls that I was in treatment with, but just any note that, like a friend has written you, or a parent, or somebody on your support team that really, reminds you, okay, yeah, I'm worth this, and I'm doing this for a reason, is a really great thing to have. And I also have a movie ticket, which does me very little good currently because of my location, but it's a great thing to have, like a movie ticket that never expires. If you just need a few hours to yourself, go find a movie, And probably one of the strangest things I have in my card, which I also have in my coping skills box, are these buttons. But these buttons are a reminder that some very special girls love me a lot. These are buttons from the birthday banner that the girls made for me for my birthday when I was in treatment. So it's nice to have like this sort of tangible reminder. I can hold it in my hand while I'm working the crossword puzzle, or and that just reminds me that I'm connected to people and people who love me. My last little envelope here is anxiety medication. If you are prescribed anxiety medication, don't be afraid to use it. There are a bunch of us here with eating disorders who have depression or anxiety or, bipolar, and that's nothing to be ashamed of, and certainly nothing to be wary of using medication about if that's what your doctor recommends. So for my anxiety issues, I have a prescription for an anti-anxiety medication that I can take if my anxiety gets out of hand. And I'm pretty much always traveling with it anyway, outside of this card. But it's nice to know that in the event, if I forget something for some reason, I've got that right there as an option. Because even, in the best of situations, I've got all these things, but if I'm too anxious to really slow my thoughts and go, okay, I need to make the next right choice, and I need to stop. I need to use a coping skill, and if my brain is working too quickly, I can't even make that choice. So sometimes that medication really comes in handy. Something else I've used before in these emergency cards is really strong mints or something with a very strong smell or taste. It's a DBT skill, which is mindfulness, and so by eating the mint or smelling the essential oil or whatnot, you're forced to focus on the present moment, which is really important because a lot of times urges are related to future tripping or oh, I did this terrible thing 5 minutes ago, but if you're going, okay, what am I smelling right now, what am I tasting, then that's pretty valuable. I found Altoid Smalls, the itty bitty ones, awesome for this, and also really easy to keep just a few loose mints at the bottom of the card. So those are just some ideas I have for you guys in terms of coping on the go. I'm sure you guys have awesome ideas as well. I would love to hear them. I'm always looking for new things to add to my coping skills card. So yeah, go out. I think in total it cost me $5 or $6 to make myself a little coping skills kit to go. And just remember, if you're thinking about it, it's an emergency. Use it. Hope you guys are doing well. See ya.